Hello and welcome to the LA College Formatting and Style Guide presentation. We created this presentation as a supplement to the LAC Style Guide provided to students under My Toolkit, and we hope that by having some of the elements of formatting illustrated here, you will be able to create more well-structured essays with correct in-text citations and references. The LAC Style Guide is located under My Toolkit. You will find a link to My Toolkit on the home screen of each one of your classes here at LA College. It is found in the right menu bar as pictured here. Once you click on My Toolkit, you will need to scroll down the page about halfway to find the LAC Style Guide and other formatting tools and references provided to you by the college. The first in the list will be the LAC Style Guide. We highly recommend that you download this file to your computer so that you may reference it even when you are offline. It is a wealth of information from everything from creating a title page to the differences between quoting and paraphrasing to creating a references page for your essay. The second item on the list is a sample essay. This is a PDF file that will let you see a snapshot of what a formatted essay would look like with the proper header, double-spaced text, and indented paragraphs. The third item is the title page. This is offered to you in both a PDF file as well as a Word document file. The Word document file can be downloaded to your computer and you may edit it and use as the title page for your essays and assignments. The format for your papers is as follows. They should be typed with double-spaced text, 1-inch margins, a standard 12-point font. Use Times New Roman or Arial as a standard font, a title page for final assignments, and a header with the title of your assignment on the left margin and the page number aligned with the right margin. For weekly assignments, there are two things required: the main body of the assignment and the references page, where you cite any outside source of information you quoted, paraphrased, or summarized in your assignment. For final essays, the requirements are the same with one addition, the title page. Let's take a look at them in order they should be included in your final assignment. The first is the title page. This is an example of what a title page should look like. You are also welcome again to go to My Toolkit and download the title page template provided to you by the college. The second part of your essay should be the main body of the essay. This is an example of what the text of your essay should look like. Create a header that has the title of the essay aligned with the left margin and the page number aligned with the right. Headers are found under the Insert tab in Microsoft Word. Make sure to double space your text as well as indent each paragraph 1/2 inch from the left margin. Both of these features can be formatted automatically in the paragraph box under the Home tab in Microsoft Word. The third part of your essay should be the references page. This slide shows you an example of what a references page should look like. We will go over the basics in a later slide, but for now, notice the double-spaced text and hanging indentation. Both of these can be formatted automatically under the paragraph box under the Home tab in Microsoft Word. We are now going to move into how to format in-text citations. The definition of an in-text citation is a reference to a source inside the body of a paper. When you quote a source or summarize someone else's ideas, you should include a citation inside your text that explains where you found that information. It is very important to remember that any information you use, whether it is quoted, paraphrased, or summarized, must be cited in the text of your essay. You will need to provide the author's name and year of publication for each in-text citation. Also, if you quote or closely paraphrase, you will need to provide the page number as well. We will first focus on how to format an in-text citation for a summary or a paraphrase. There are two main ways to format an in-text citation for a summary or a paraphrase. The first is to provide the author's last name and the year of publication in parentheses directly after. For example, recently the history of warfare has been significantly revised to include women's personal and cultural responses to battle and its resulting traumatic effects. In parentheses, author's last name Smith, comma, year of publication 2010. Note how the period goes on the outside of the parentheses. The second way to format a summary or a paraphrase is if you mention the author's name in the sentence directly following the author's name, you put the year of publication in parentheses. For example, recently the history of warfare has been significantly revised by historian Dr. Gregory Smith, in parentheses the year of publication 2010, to include women's personal and cultural responses to battle and its resulting painful and lifelong effects. Let's take a moment to compare the two different ways to format in-text citations when you paraphrase or summarize. Take a good look at the first one without mentioning the author's name in the text of the sentence, and the second with the author mentioned. Take note of the placement of the citations and the punctuation. Next, we will move on to formatting in-text citations for quotations. Again, there are two main ways to format an in-text citation for a quotation. The first is to provide the author's last name, the year of publication, and the page number, if available, in parentheses directly after the quote. For example, we are currently in the process of making significant changes to the historical accounts of warfare so that they include women's personal and cultural reactions to battle and its resultant traumatic effects. In parentheses, the author's last name Smith, comma, year of publication 2010, comma, page number 36. Note again how the period goes on the outside of the parentheses. The second way to format an in-text citation for a quotation is if you mention the author in the text directly after the author's name, you put the year of publication in parentheses, and if available, provide the page number after the quotation. For example, Dr. Gregory Smith, year of publication in parentheses 2010, stated, "We are currently in the process of making significant changes to the historical accounts of warfare so that they include women's personal and cultural reactions to battle and its resultant traumatic effects." In parentheses directly after, page 36. Note once again how the period goes on the outside of the parentheses. Again, let's take a moment to compare the two different ways to format in-text citations when you quote a source. Take a good look at the first one that does not mention the author's name in the text of the sentence, and the second with the author mentioned. Take note of the placement of the citations and the punctuation. The rules for citations are the same for websites and organizations, whether you paraphrase, summarize, or quote. The first way to format is to provide the website or organization name and the year of publication in parentheses directly after the quote, paraphrase, or summary. For example, by the year 2015, over half of the world's Arctic animal population will be endangered or extinct. In parentheses, we have the organization name, World Conservation Network, comma, year of publication, 2010. Note, you don't just type the website address, www.worldconservationnetwork.com, because that isn't a correct citation. The second method of formatting a website or organization is if you mention the website or organization in the text of the sentence directly after the name, you put the year of publication in parentheses. For example, the World Conservation Network, year of publication 2010, stated, "By the year 2015, over half of the world's Arctic animal population will be endangered or extinct." The reason you don't need to include a page number here is because websites generally don't have page numbers. Once again, let's take a moment to compare the two different ways to format in-text citations when you use a website. Take a good look at the first one that doesn't mention the website or organization name in the text of the sentence, and the second that does have the website or organization mentioned. Take note of the placement of the citations and punctuation. Next, we will be moving on to the references page. The purpose of a references page is your reference list provides the information necessary for a reader to locate and retrieve any source you cite in the body of the paper. Each source you cite in the paper must appear in your reference list. Likewise, each entry in your reference list must be cited in your text. On the right-hand side, you will see an example of what a references page should look like. Here are some basics regarding the references page. It is the last page of your essay. You start a new page for the references page. You will center the title, References, at the top of the page. You should double space your reference entries. Align the first line of the entry with the left margin and indent any subsequent lines. This is called a hanging indentation. Alphabetize your references. Invert the author's name, which means you put the last name first, followed by their initials, and you italicize the titles of books, magazines, and newspapers. References for books include the author's last name, followed by their initials and a period. The year of publication is then placed in parentheses, followed by a period. The title of the book is italicized, followed by a period. The location of the publisher, city, state, or country, followed by a colon, and the name of the publisher, followed by a period. For example, an example with an author, last name Gleich, comma, first initial J, 1987, in parentheses, followed by a period. The title of the book, Chaos, Making the New Science, followed by a period. Publication location, New York, followed by a colon. The publisher's name, Penguin Books, followed by a period. The example with no author would be the title of the book, Encyclopedia of Indiana, italicized, followed by a period. The year of publication, 1993, followed by a period. The location of the publisher, New York, followed by a colon. The name of the publisher, Somerset, followed by a period. For magazine and newspaper articles, there is additional information necessary for the reference. You begin with the author's last name and initials, followed by a period. The date of the publication is then placed in parentheses, followed by a period. The title of the article is followed by a period. The title of the magazine or newspaper is italicized, followed by the issue number, if available, in parentheses, with a comma placed in between it and the page numbers of the article, and that is followed by a period. For example, author's name, last name Henry, comma, initials W.A., in parentheses is the date of publication, April 9th, 2009, followed by a period. The title of the article, Making the Grade in Today's Schools, followed by a period. The name of the magazine, Time, followed by a comma, with the issue number 135, followed by a comma, and the page numbers of the article, followed by a period. The second example from a newspaper, the author's last name, Schultz, first initial S, in parentheses the date of publication, December 28, 2005, followed by a period. The title of the article, Calls Made to Strengthen State Energy Policies, followed by a period. The title of the newspaper, USA Today, followed by a comma, and the page numbers 1A and 2A, followed by a period.